If you're positive, you better bless the space. If you are negative, you better get up out our face. If you are positive, you better bless our space. If you are negative, you better get up out our faces. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up out our faces. Period. I messed that whole thing up again. It doesn't matter.
Oh, period. Doesn't matter. We are protected.
Intention.
Hello, everybody. I am Zari.
I'm Face.
Welcome if you are new, and if not, welcome back to another episode of Witches and Weebs, where the otaku lifestyle, spirituality, witchcraft, and fandom come together in a harmonious community that is Witches and Weebs. We dive into all things mystical, magical, witchy, and weeby. So if you are here, thank you for joining us on our journey to betterment, and we hope that you have as much fun as we do. Today's going to be a super cool episode because Space here gets to yap about sigil matter.
Sigils. First thing first, I read this book and it's my favorite way to make sigils. 100%. This is definitely more of an artist kind of way of making sigils. So if you're not super artsy fartsy, probably not going to be your favorite. But if you are artsy or want to be artsy in your craft, 10 out of 10, recommend. They talk about all kind of cultures. And they talk about the meanings that a lot of the meanings via cultures are kind of the same, depending on But I do want to say that we do want to talk about Sigil Witchery because we have been using it in our craft very religiously. And I want to say that Mia's already better than I am. I saw her demo for today, and I'm poo-poo caca because mine is shit.
God. I forgot my book out in the living room. Jeez. I have acquired my book with my singular sample.
Listen, one sample is better than no sample. So we're going to talk about I did find about 5 ways to do it. This is the 5th way. I have written Hold the phone. Let me stop here let me talk about what sigils are. Sigils are symbols designed to manifest intentions by embedding them into the subconscious. They act as a bridge between thought, your subconscious reality, and your conscious reality, helping to align your energy with what you want to bring in your life. I do want to explain that burning and forgetting about it is only for that specific spell.
Yeah, I came to that discovery a week ago, so, oh my god. Space and I have always been watching videos, and we're like, sigils are cool. Sigils bring that extra oomph of intention in any working that you're doing. We love sigils. They're easily accessible. You can write them on just about anything. If you're doing glamour magic, you can use it on your lotion.
All you need is pen and paper, or your finger.
This with sigils is your wand. If you're someone who enjoys hygiene and rituals and routines like bath and cleaning your face and everything, you have your moisturizer that you can easily draw your sigil on your skin with. If you are an ink master, you can get your sigils tattooed on you so you have that energy permanently embedded on your skin. And so when you are using your sigils, nobody wants to create a sigil for every single working they do, especially if it's something that has the same intention. Say you have a sigil for money. That is your money sigil. That is your powered sigil that attracts money because that is your intention. You don't want to just forget about it completely and then be like, well, why do I have to make a new sigil now? That's not fair. Nope, you don't have to.
What you would do is have a master page in your grimoire of all the sigils that you have created for their specific purposes listed underneath. And then per working, you pick out a sigil that fits and be like, this is mine. And if you don't have any that fit, you add a new one. So that is the idea behind sigils. It is not just making a new sigil every time, burning it and forgetting about it.
Yeah.
Because that would suck donkey doo-doo.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
And
never gonna do that.
Because nobody explains what burn and forget about it actually is. And when you have two quite literal neurospicy people who, again, take everything quite literally, I don't want to forget about this sigil. What do you mean forget about this sigil? They don't tell you that you just forget about it in that working. This is your sigil now.
Working.
This is like your alphabet, basically. This is your alphabet. This is your language. Your sigils are your language. If this sigil means money, then you use this sigil, which is basically your personal rune, and you use it in that working.
And you can use it over and over again. And by using it over and over again, you empower that sigil more and more with every working. Of course, you can go back and edit the sigils the more you learn, because there's plenty of symbols in this book that you can add. And there's other symbols out in the world that you might discover, like obviously the little money sign.
Right.
They didn't have that, but that's money, so you can use that. That makes perfect sense. The cent sign. This book doesn't have that, but that's what we associate with money. So that's how you have to think. When you are creating your sigils, you want to always use your words in present tense. I am protected. Instead of calling something an anti-anxiety spell or a bad habit spell, you want to say a calming spell or a transformation spell, because you're letting go of these bad habits and getting new good habits. So that is what you always want to frame your life positively, even if you are trying to get rid of negative things.
Yeah, it's something that is predominant within spirituality mostly. Spirituality is always manifestation in the present tense, as if you are quite literally having it right in front of you, and you don't focus on the bad. You focus on what you want to attract, because by thinking about the bad, you are still attracting the bad to you. So you want to frame everything that you're saying positively, so you're attracting that positivity rather than the negativity that you're trying to avoid, because your words are powerful. Cannot stress this enough. Your words is your magic.
Now, granted, there's nuance because society is society, so remember that. Critical thinking here. We love critical thinking. You don't have to be positive 100% of the time.
Yeah.
You can be mad. You can be angry. You can be sad. If you need to cry, bitch. Cry, because that will make you feel so much better. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. So don't shy away from your emotions, but focusing on the positive when you're doing witchcraft is going to give you a better outcome. Again, focus what you want to bring in, not what you want to get rid of. You want to bring in. The releasing is easy. It'll release as you need it to release. Charging versus activating. Charging is the act of making the sigil, really. And it's also the process of embedding it into your subconscious. So making it, thinking about it, doing all the acts of that, I would say, is definitely enough to be, okay, it's in my subconscious. I have made it. So long as you don't just 5 seconds and that's okay. Spend some time on it. Speaking to myself.
And that is exactly where the burn and forget about it comes in, because when you start to activate your sigil, which means either submerging it in water or lighting it on fire and burning it, now that you've forgotten about it, it's up to your subconscious mind now. Your subconscious mind, after you send it off, is like, all right, cool. Now that we've given our offering of our sigil to source, it's time to get the gear going. It's time to get the ball rolling. It's time to activate this sigil so we can start attracting things to you, because now it's up to your higher self. Your higher self is now the one that's like, okay, girl, I see you did the work. Now let's bring in that energy. Let's bring in those manifestations.
Yes, activating your sigil is the act of releasing it into the universe so it can start working in some fashion. Burning it, burying it. Again, make sure it's proper, not printer paper, any kind of like special notebook paper. That should be good. Stuff that is made to be written on in pen and paper, and printer paper is not. Drowning it, meditating, drawing it in hidden places, like drawing it in Florida water, moon water, any kind of your special oils. Like I know people make ritual oils. You can draw it on your, like if you're doing, I'm going to say we're going to focus on protection so I don't have to keep making up different things.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on protection. So you're going to have a protection ritual oil that you can use to lock your windows and lock your door and lock your mirrors by using your protection sigil and your finger. Boop, 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 boop. You've drawn it. And then again, let it go. That working is forgotten. It's being handled by your higher self. You don't have to worry about it. You go on to your next working. Now we're going to talk about the different ways of making sigils. Now that you know how to activate them, you know how to charge them, there is intuitive sigils. This is the one that you want to spend your time on. Again, this is the one where, like, if you're going to make a protection spell, say I am protected, and then you draw whatever comes to mind. This little guy is a house my house is protected and energy is going out, protecting it with this octagon. I don't know what fucking size. This octagon is a shield around my house, and energy that comes into it doesn't affect my house. There you go. That's my intuitive. I just drew whatever came to my mind when I said I am protected.
Right.
Again, this is the simplest method. This is, you just need a paper and a pen and
it doesn't
slap
have
it
to
together.
be super complex. It doesn't have to be super artsy fartsy. It can just
look at this shit.
It'll
work.
Literally just be a squiggle in a certain direction to repel, because you're drawing it intuitively with that intention of repelling negative energy so you stay protected. It can be a squiggle and it'll work just as fine as something that was like intricate with all of these lines and ridges and grooves and all this creative, messy, chaotic
those
stuff.
Are things I would say that those kind of sigils are stuff that you work up to throughout your practice. You're never going to be super fancy as soon as you start.
Yep.
Unlike some people I know, but that's because she's an artist.
I'm artsy.
Because her sigil is already more complicated than any of mine have been ever. So that's crazy. Anyway, the second type of doing it is a letter manipulation, and that is when you'll take the I am protected, then you will take out vowels and duplicates. And this method comes from chaos magic. So it's more of a newer method than anything else we're going to talk about. Probably also the witch's wheel, which we'll get to. From there, you're going to break down the lines of each letter. So let's say you have the I. That is 3 lines, 2 straight, 1 up. Or you can just break them down into 3 lines and put them however you want to. I put them however I wanted to, but you could also follow directions as they are planted in letters. So from there, you break it down and then you form your sigil. I made whatever came to fucking one and done, but this is just demos. You don't have to use anything that I'm using. Actually, please don't. Make your own.
Please make your own, and be very cautious with who you are sending your sigils to, because sigils are one of those things that other people can take and reverse. So while you have your sigil activated, they can deactivate your sigil so long as they know what it looks like.
There's a page in here that has an upright power symbol and an inverted power symbol, which is exactly what you're talking about. And I opened exactly to the page as soon as I opened it up. So this is the right side up version. And then we have the inverted. The inverted can be used to locate the original power symbol and deactivate it. So you have to be very careful to only share your sigils with people that are witches, like your coven. Or don't share them at all.
Or if it's something that you keep close to you, you don't have to share it. But if you're coven and you know that your coven would never do anything to just be negative with you, then you can be like, hey coven, look what I got, or look what I made, and your coven be like, oh, that's a great sigil. You know what? Let's use it as part of our coven symbol. And then you start getting a list of sigils that you've all made together in your coven, and you don't have to worry about somebody coming in and trying to deactivate your magic,
because they also can't deactivate all those sigils at once.
They can't deactivate all of that power. When you have all of your coven, even if it's just 2 of you, that's more than enough power. There are so many ways that you can create different sigils. So on the theme of protection, I made, you can't see it, but
yes,
there you go. So
yes.
We've got one here. Is it backwards on camera? That's so ugly. So
that's fair.
Yeah. So we have a first sigil, if you can see, that I made with this method, and then on the flip side, the same lines, the same pattern, the same letters that were used. There's this sigil. They are 2 completely different style of sigil, but they both have the same intention of protection.
Yep. They could be, anybody's sigils are going to be very unique, but can also have similar shapes and stuff applied, just in different fashions. From there, we've taken it back to anything. You don't have to do anything. Stuff like, I have the evil eye on my necklace, and this pentacle, and this key that my friend bought me. You can't see it because it's very tiny, but those symbols are symbols of protection that have been focused on, meditated on for years via many generations of witches. So those symbols by nature have power, and these symbols also cannot be they can't be reversed engineered. Existing symbols in witchcraft can be used in your sigils, like pentagrams.
Yeah.
And crescent moons, the triple goddess symbol can be used. Absolutely. If you want to, the triple goddess can be used to invoke divine energy, and then you add it on to your pentagram to protect you. Now you have divine energy protecting you. There you go. And it's also made it a little bit unique. These elements can also add layers of intention and power and meaning to your sigils. So they are really good to incorporate in your other kind of sigils if you can. And now we go into please don't judge my circles. I'm just getting back into art because goddamn, the outer circle is bad. Anyway, this is the witch's wheel. You have 3 layers, and on the outer layer, you go in order: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, down to M. In the inner layer, you go to N to U, and on the very inside, you go Z, U to Z. And that is the witch's circle. And this is the way that you create these super basic lined sigils. This method involves mapping your intentions letters onto the witch's sigil wheel to create a structured sigil. Again, these are only lines, so it is recommended that you add more like unique details, like how I added the circles at the end just for the sake of adding them.
Right.
But you'll want to add like little details to make it more unique, because this is a very widely used technique. And I believe, again, there's another way that involves using numbers 1 through 9 and then listing the alphabet underneath them, and then doing the I am protected, taking out the vowels and the consonants and the doubles, and then mapping out same way.
Okay.
So I actually forgot to look into that one. My bad, because I kind of got distracted by this book. This has been my holy grail of sigil witchery. Sorry, I don't care for any of these other techniques, but I do want to share them with you. And now we have the one that I have no idea how to do, and I have to be honest with you. Planetary grid sigils, because I don't know anything about planetary magic. This is where they make a grid with a bunch of different numbers, and you make a sigil based on that. This is a much more advanced technique because it involves layering it with planetary magic.
Right.
And using the planets, such as if you're going to do a Jupiter spell, you're going to want to focus on money. Jupiter is opportunities and money. He does more than just money. It requires knowledge of the original 7 planets, which is up to Saturn. Yes? Yes. And this is a type of that if you're interested in astrology, I would 100% recommend this method. And now I'm going to talk about Sigil Witchery, which is the one that I use, the one that Mia is starting to use because I introduced her to this book. And this is the one where you are taking symbols from past witches, like, okay, basic shapes and signs, like the infinity and the hourglass. The figure 8, whether vertical or horizontal, is the symbol for infinity, the endless fluid looping of energy. It is the ideal symbol to use when you need to represent both stability and movement. If you flatten the rounded ends of the vertical 8, it becomes an hourglass. Therefore, the symbol of time, limits, restrictions, rules, guidelines, and learning to balance. So those are when you start layering different symbols to end up with something. Let's say you're trying to make a sigil for your coven. You'll want to think of what kind of words associate with your coven, like foundation, finding identity, wisdom, growth, mastering skills, balance. So what represents foundation in this book and throughout history is a straight line. Just put it at the bottom. Straight line at the bottom. Finding identity, an arrow for direction. Wisdom, perhaps the eye, the third eye, representing your higher self, and or a pyramid, because that also represents wisdom in, I believe it's ancient Egyptian culture. Growth would be roots, trees, blossoms, some kind of planty-esque kind of addition.
Abundance kind of things.
Mastering skills, the star, and it would be inverted specifically. And balance, obviously, you'd want to scale.
Right.
And therefore, you turn out with something like...
Ugh, it's so beautiful.
Yes, this is how you get, like I said, this is really for those artsy fartsies that really want to layer in the magic. So we have, this is a sigil against bullying, which makes very good protective sigil as well. So the words were building confidence and shielding him and protecting him from bullying. My go-to base was the symbol of pentagram. Obviously, you can see it on in the middle. She enclosed the star in a pentagon, my bad, sorry, and then drew another pentagon around that. So 3 layers of protection for them.
A good protection, because you got to get through those layers of that sigil to get through with your nasty magic. Because why would you want to be a bully? Don't be a bully. Don't be a bully.
You can find this online, but I do recommend supporting the author because she is very talented, and I believe that she did an excellent job on this book. So yes, you can find it online as a pirate, but I highly suggest you support her. There you go.
I'm not too far into the book, but so far, I'm in it, and I'm going to be reading that for the foreseeable future, which will probably only take like 3 days.
This is gonna be my go-to for Sigil Witchery for the rest of forever. I don't see myself picking it up any other book because I think this was really well done, unless it's like just a book of symbols kind of thing that I can add into this. Because in this book, what she has is a very good list of elements and symbols to start with. But then at some point, she adds in, this is kind of more like a workbook. And there's a bunch of things that like the healing, home, increase, invoke, love, health, and you can add your own symbols that you associate with these words into this book to give you more to work with.
That's so handy.
It is very handy. That's why I would recommend picking up the book itself, because you can have it as your ultimate reference book for now.
If anybody has any books similar to Sigil Witchery or a book that they have enjoyed more than Sigil Witchery, please leave a comment and let us know what your favorite books for Sigil Magic are, if there are any, or if you have read any, because we're always open to looking at different perspectives of how people create their things. If we could sit and just watch witches do their magic, we would. Like, if somebody knows any
100%.
Events where we can just sit and watch a bunch of witches just simultaneously do magic so we can see all the different perspectives of how magic is done, please let us know, because I'm begging. I need to see how other witches work. I have to.
I really want to like find a community of witches that we could do stuff like that for, and like not even build a coven with them. Like, Lily, I just want to see you guys do your magic. I don't care about all that kind of stuff. I want to share magic.
Yeah.
Another book recommendation that I don't have, but this one is specific for planetary grid and all of that kind of stuff, is Practice Sigil Magic by Frater U.D. Covers planetary sigils and offers a comprehensive guide to their uses. So that's specific for planetary sigils and grids and all of that kind of sigil work. But that is pretty much it for sigils, actually. We have been using them in almost all of our workings, and I will continue to be using them in all of my workings because I think they work and they're so easy.
I think the only working that I did that doesn't have a sigil is my salt bowl. I don't actually have. That's a lie. I do have one for my money bowl that I have lit up right now because it's Thursday, and Thursday is ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter's got money. Friday is also a good day to light your money bowls because Venus is also dealing with money, and Friday and Venus are hand in hand. So if you miss a Thursday with any abundance or money spells, you can go do it on a Friday. Extra information that has nothing to do with the episode. I do have a sigil on my candle that I burn for my money bowl, but I also have my Ace of Pentacles card as a symbol for the manifestation and the abundance. If you're into Hermetic Kabbalah, then you know why pentacles are synonymous with the embodiment and physical form and manifestation. So that's used to attract the physical form of that energy to me. So if you have a money bowl, using a Pentacles card would be very good for that intention of attracting money to you.
Absolutely. That's pretty much it I have for sigils. Sigils are a powerful form of magic and accessible to literally anybody that can draw with their hand. So maybe they're not accessible to anybody who doesn't have hands, but we got some bionics out there that are pretty cool. I saw one that can like literally popped off her hand, put it on the table, and can control it on the table. It was crazy. Science is crazy. It's so crazy that it's basically magic. I do want to suggest experiment with different techniques and figure out which one works best for you. Maybe you prefer the witch's wheel. Yeah. Maybe you prefer the number ones that I see all the time on TikTok that I forgot to fucking research. I'm so sorry. My bad. I don't want to talk about it without knowing exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you find making them intuitively your best bet. Maybe the breaking them down like the chaos magics and doing them from the letters make the coolest ones for you. Practice what you enjoy doing, and then you'll find what works best for you. If you enjoyed this episode, please let us know what you use sigil magic for. Do you use it in your glamours? Do you use it for as protection? Do you use it in your money bowls? Do you use it in... I'm curious where you use it at.
I actually did do an intuitive sigil the other day for self-love, and I think it's very, very beautiful.
It's very cute. I'm excited to use that for the self-love spell. I'm very excited. That's all I have for you guys today.
Thank you, Space, for Thank you, Space, for leading such a wonderful episode. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell on so you know when we are uploading new videos. If you enjoyed this episode, please share us to your friends, share us to your homies. We want to vibe. We hope the vibes are immaculate.
We're trying so hard.
We are. We just have to get the network part going. Once we get that networking part going, we'll be okay. But please, if you are here and you are watching us, share us to your homies. Again, like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you can be first in line to see an episode of Witches and Weebs, because me and Space are constantly fighting and it's kind of war and hectic over here. So we're gonna need somebody
for real.
We're gonna need somebody to like just ladies, please. We all love Witches and Weebs, okay? Let's all comment at the same time. Okay, sure.
Dude, I would literally be flabbergasted if I saw someone comment at the same time as me. I'd be like, oh, I'm so honored.
We're both first. We can't fight for this. Just stay tuned for when we're uploading new videos, because now that we are semi-live, which means that we record one day or 1 week and then have it out the next week, there's not that much backstock left. So you are seeing us in living color, breathing, beautiful, majestic, fantastic, whatever. Remember, everybody, please practice wisely, practice safely, and may all of your positive affirmations and manifestations come true for fruition, because magic is real if you believe in it hard enough. Trust us, we are professionals. We know these things.
Remember, stay mystical and stay magical.
Stay mystical and magical. Bye, everybody. See you next week.
Bye-bye.